I give the floor to the delegation of Germany.
Mr. President, thank you for convening the meeting today and for the chance to speak. Let me at the outset say that I am happy that the Prime Minister of Ukraine is able to be present today. And allow me to thank Assistant Secretary Janša for his insightful briefing at the beginning. And I would like to say that Germany aligns itself with a statement to be delivered by the European Union. Mr. President, while we are here discussing the unprovoked Russian war of aggression against Ukraine, hundreds of thousands of men, women, and children in Kiev and other cities of Ukraine are preparing for another night of fear. And as they lie down to sleep, they dread to witness yet another abhorrent attack, an attack such as the one 2 days ago, where, as the Prime Minister said, 25 people lost their lives, including 4 children, in this brutal Russian airstrike. This is an illegal attack, and it's a discriminatory attack which we utterly condemn. And I would like to join many others around the table in extending my condolences to you, Prime Minister, to your country, and especially to the families of the victims. Of course, just as many others, we were shocked to learn also that the building of the EU delegation and the British Council suffered serious damages, and of course that a security guard of the British Council was injured and hospitalized through this attack. 2 facts remain evident after these attacks. First of all, that Russia has demonstrated again its blatant disregard of the most basic norms of international law and international humanitarian law. And secondly, that the Ukrainian people continue to show admirable resilience and determination in defending their country and their sovereignty. Mr. President, I think we have to all ask ourselves what the intention of Russia is and why Russia is conducting these indiscriminate attacks against innocent civilians. For weeks, actually months, Russian leaders and diplomats have been claiming to seek negotiations and peace, but at the same time, Russia relentlessly launches rockets into Ukraine and into residential areas of Ukraine. The position of Ukraine, on the other hand, is clear. Ukraine has suffered an illegal invasion, which has cost more than 13,000 lives to this day, and yet it stands ready for an unconditional ceasefire. Mr. President, I think there are no excuses for member states who truly stand behind the principles of the UN Charter to look away. And every government that wishes to play a constructive role and every member state that seeks a diplomatic solution should increase pressure on the aggressor in order to finally stop the killing. My question, and the question we should ask the Russian Federation, is simple. If Russia is sincere about peace, why can it not agree to a ceasefire? Let there be no doubt, Germany, together with its European allies and others, will spare no effort to achieve an immediate and comprehensive ceasefire and ultimately just and lasting peace and long-term security for the people of Ukraine that must be rooted in the principles of the UN Charter. The territorial integrity of UN member states must be respected and international borders must not be changed by force. Germany, together with its allies, will support Ukraine in its right to defend itself as long as it takes. Mr. President, every night the people of Ukraine have to spend in fear is one too much, and it is time to act. Thank you very much.
A la delegación de Alemania.
I thank the delegation of Germany for their statements, and I'll give the floor to His Excellency Mr. Stavros Lambrinidis, head of the European Union delegation to the United Nations.
Mr. President, thank you for convening this emergency meeting, and thank you to ASG Janša for his updates, and a really warm welcome to the Prime Minister of Ukraine in this chamber. An honor to have you. Colleagues, as high-level talks for peace are ongoing, as European leaders work with Ukraine and our allies to stop the killing, as we are hopefully reaching finally a moment of truth for peace in Ukraine, Russia has once again shown its true intentions with another massive and brutal overnight attack against Ukrainian cities and civilians. Ordinary civilians, including children as young as 2 years old, have paid the ultimate price for Russia's unprovoked, unjustified, and illegal aggression. Without the effective intervention of Ukrainian air defenses, who reportedly destroyed 589 out of 629 Russian drones and missiles, the civilian toll would have undoubtedly been dramatically higher. I was shocked to learn that multiple Russian missiles also struck close to the EU delegation in Kiev, causing severe damage to our premises by the shock waves. Fortunately, none of our colleagues were injured, but a security guard of the British Consul was. I thank many of you in this room and outside for your statements of solidarity and concern, which I promise you I will convey to my colleagues in Kiev. We will, of course, not be intimidated. Such blatant violations of international law and the inviolability of diplomatic premises only strengthen our resolve to stand with Ukraine and to stand with the Ukrainian people. Colleagues, these latest Russian attacks are part of a broader plan. Over the past few months, Russia has intensified its attacks across Ukraine, targeting civilians and civilian infrastructure. Intentionally directing an attack against civilians or civilian objects is a war crime, in case anyone needs to be reminded of it. The increasingly tone-deaf and hypocritical statements the Russian Federation makes in this chamber simply underscore the cynical intentionality of their continued aggression against a sovereign country, a free country, and blatant violations of international law. Our objective, dear friends, remains clear. The European Union supports an immediate, full and unconditional ceasefire. We also welcome the efforts of the United States to seek an end to Russia's war of aggression and to stop the killing. As European Union, we contribute to these efforts in order to achieve a just and lasting peace and long-term security for Ukraine and for our continent. I urge all members of this Council to use their influence and maximize pressure on Russia now to accept an immediate ceasefire and to work towards a just and lasting peace in Ukraine. In addition, the European Union strongly condemns support by third countries and actors and entities therein, which enable Russia to sustain its war of aggression. We urge all countries to immediately cease any direct or indirect assistance to Russia in its war of aggression. Russia and its leadership must be held fully accountable for waging a war of aggression against Ukraine and for these other serious crimes under international law, as well as for the damage, the massive damage caused by its war. Colleagues, on the 21st of August, we celebrated Ukraine's Independence Day. We celebrated the exceptional resilience of Ukrainians and what they have demonstrated, the courage, the bravery in defending their right to exist as a country. Russia's continued aggression and neo-colonial actions remind us that independence and freedom can never be taken for granted. That is why the European Union will remain united in providing political, financial, economic, humanitarian, military, and diplomatic support to Ukraine as it exercises its inherent right of self-defense. Mr. President, in closing, we will continue to stand shoulder to shoulder with Ukraine in defense of the UN Charter and international law. I respectfully submit that this Council, without any wavering or any hesitation, do the same. At a time when Russia intensifies its killings and continues to pursue its illegal objectives instead of peace. Thank you.
Agradezco.
I thank His Excellency Mr. Lambrinidis for his statement. I now give the floor to the representative of Romania.
Thank you, Mr. President, and thank you for allowing my delegation to take the floor this afternoon, the last day of your presidency, which you very steered very ably. The sense of urgency in asking to allow Romania to participate in this meeting is given by the latest massive and successive attacks undertaken by Russia against Ukraine in the last 48 hours, and even more than that. I want to thank ASG Encha for the briefing, but I want to acknowledge very importantly the key points that the Prime Minister Zviderenko made today. I also want to put on record, Mr. President, the regrettable nature of the comment made by a permanent member of Security Council disregarding the legitimate and genuine interest of the wider international community to a matter that is so relevant for the international peace and security. We do that now as we do on many other occasions and many other issues, and I think this is the message that is echoed from this chamber, that the international community, supporting the mission of the Security Council and enabling this council, this body, which created so many expectations around the world, to fulfill the ambitions and the goals of the UN Charter. And it's very much important to continue to respect each other and to continue exactly along a path of cooperation, understanding, with the principles of international law and the Charter at the core of our work. Now, the latest missiles attack on Kiev on 27th of August was followed less than 24 hours later by a drone attack on a Ukrainian ship on the Danube Delta near the Romanian border and near the Black Sea. We are waiting for further details about the impact of the attacks, but the civilian lives of those living nearby the Danube River were irresponsibly put at risk. In this context, I would like to put on record our strong condemnation of Russia's continuous and indiscriminate attacks affecting the sovereignty of Ukraine in the immediate vicinity of Romania. We emphasize the irresponsible nature of these attacks and their serious implications for national security. We are appalled by the frequent and large missiles and drone attacks on Kiev, targeting civilians, civil infrastructure, and again, diplomatic compounds. And we stand in solidarity with our partner countries, with Ukraine, and we continue to support Ukraine as long as it takes to reject this blatant aggression. The latest attacks launched by Russia in the last 48 hours confirm Moscow's pattern of aggression against Ukraine on land or by sea and river. The war triggered by Russia affects maritime security on the Black Sea and the commercial shipping both regionally and globally. And these continuous attacks are not the path to peace. And we need peace. In February 2025, this year, the General Assembly and the Security Council agreed on that. We need a comprehensive, just, and lasting peace in Ukraine that puts at its core the principles of the UN Charter and international law. And we also need an immediate, full, and unconditional ceasefire. Just like other speakers previously, Romania welcomes the efforts undertaken by the United States to put an end to Russia's war of aggression and to save lives. And last but not least, Mr. President, accountability is more needed than ever as we keep witnessing Russia's actions against fundamental principles enshrined in the UN Charter and the Human Rights Universal Declaration. The war started 3.5 years ago by Russia is not only against Ukraine and its people. We have said it time and again. The Russian aggression is a blatant violation of the UN Charter and international law, and it is high time now to advance on the path of peace. Thank you, Mr. President.
Agradezco.
I thank the representative of Romania for the statement. There are no more names inscribed on the list of speakers. But before adjourning the meeting, as this is the last scheduled meeting of the Council for the month of August, I would like to express the sincere appreciation of the delegation of Panama and our entire team to the members of the Council and to the Secretariat of the Council for all the support they have given us throughout the month of August, and for all your cooperation, without which we would not have been able to fulfill our duty. Indeed, it has been a busy month in which we rallied to consensus on several important issues within our purview. We could not have done it alone, and without the hard work, support, and positive contributions of every delegation and the representatives of the Secretariat, including the technical support team, conference service officers, interpreters, translators, verbatim reporters, and security staff. As we end our presidency, I know I speak on behalf of the Council in wishing the delegation of the Republic of Korea the very best of luck in the month of September. The meeting is adjourned.